Hey, Binworthy Beauties. Happy Thursday. I'm Dominique Clark, CEO and founder of BinWorthy.com. Also the host of Binworthy, the podcast. Make sure y'all go check that out. And I am here with another incredible fireside chat and an even better guest to share with you guys. I'm super excited to have her. Her name is Lily Mae, and the topic that we're going to be discussing tonight is absolutely fire. I'm excited to dig into it because I think it's a topic that we can all relate to. We can all feel doubts about. So I'm super excited to dig into it and to introduce you all to Lily Mae. While we wait for her to join us in this conversation, I did just want to remind you guys that every Wednesday you can hear stories from binworthy.com on 96.3 The Block with QL, host QL. Every Wednesday he has me on for the You Got It Girl moment. And I'm going down all the things that's happened with Black women in entertainment that week. So make sure that you check that out and join us every Wednesday for that. Okay, our special guest is here. I'm going to go ahead and bring her on the stage. Everything is good here. Let's see if she can come on. Accept. There we go. Hey!
How's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
Right, that's better. I'm great. I'm great. Just want to share this video out myself with a few people. How are you?
Yes, I'm doing good. Like, am I too bright?
Oh,
is my light too bright?
Oh, you're fine. I just felt like mine was like...
Oh my goodness. Okay.
There we go.
Well, happy Thursday.
Yes, happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. I'm super excited that you're here. I'm so excited about the conversation. When you shared the topic with me that you wanted to chat about today, I was like, ooh, it like hit me in my spirit because I don't know what it is. We're going to jump into it. I don't know what it is, but I feel like the timeliness of it is so necessary and spot on. So I'm excited to dig in. But before we do that, of course, we have to have you introduce yourself. I could certainly introduce you, but I want to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself, and not from a professional perspective, but personally. When you walk through the door, when you close your laptop, who is Lily Mae?
Yes, well, Lily Mae is a multifaceted woman of faith. I am a full-time entrepreneur, and I have been helping entrepreneurs get more visibility for over 10 years by confirming them for media opportunities. I also host events around the country to empower women in entrepreneurship. So those are just a few of the basics as it relates to who I am and what I do.
I love it. Well, we're going to dig into all of that, but I first want to ask you, how's your spirit today? Where are you at today?
Yes, I love that question. Today, my spirit is great. The weather is beautiful outside here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I sold a few tickets to my Atlanta conference this week. So
Now, wait a minute. You're in Charlotte?
I am. I live in Charlotte. I moved here right before the pandemic, but I'm bringing it to Atlanta.
I'm in Charlotte.
Oh, wow. Oh my God.
Gotta get together.
Yes, I'm planning a Charlotte brunch actually in April, so I'll see you guys.
I'm in there. I am there.
Yes.
So really, I'm in Concord. So I'm north of Charlotte, about 20 minutes out, but we're in the same neighborhood.
Yes, we definitely have to meet up. I've been here for 3 years.
Yeah, and for us, we've probably been here for 7 now, so it's been a long time. But it's full now.
Yes, I love it here.
Yes, well, good. Good. I'm glad your spirit's in a good place. I like to ask that because, life is real. And sometimes we are moving through just because we have to. And so I always want to check in with someone's spirit just to see how they are.
And I think it's important that we become comfortable with answering those types of questions honestly.
Yeah.
I realize oftentimes someone will be like, how are you today? You say good right away without even really checking in, like, well, actually, I'm not good, And so I've made a habit here in the past few years to actually try to answer that question as honest as possible. When people say, how are you? Like, I try to be honest. I think we should kind of walk in that to, you know.
I support that message 110%. That is something that I have learned to practice daily over the last few years. And I think not only does it do good for me and the person that's expressing their truth, but it's also refreshing for the person who you are being transparent with.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I like that you did that. I didn't know that we could do that. Like, almost give them permission to do the same and say, okay, well, maybe I am not okay today either.
Right.
So that's great. Okay, now let's jump in. One of the things that you do, like you mentioned before with your platform, is that you've been able to provide a space, a stage for women, specifically Black women, to be seen. So when you talk about the phrase worthy to be seen, what does that mean?
Yeah, you know, it means that everyone has a specific purpose and they are called from behind the scenes into the front of the scene to share it. I feel like oftentimes people doubt themselves. They feel like they're not ready to, you know, be on podcasts, engage in interviews and things like that, or show up on Instagram Live and speak about their expertise. But it's like, no, you're actually worthy to be seen. If you started your business a month ago, you are still worthy to be seen because there's a solution that you're bringing to people. And so it's like giving people the confidence to start to, you know, not just be behind the scenes, but speak it loud and really tap into opportunities to showcase their business and their gifts to the marketplace.
Yeah. Have you ever felt unseen?
Absolutely. I definitely have moments where I feel unseen. It's so interesting because I was having this conversation with a friend. Like, for my entire life, everyone always thinks that I'm in the in crowd. Like, I look like I'm in the in crowd my entire life, but I don't feel like I'm in the in crowd. And so it's very interesting. I think
That's good.
Yeah, you know, it's like I feel like it. And so yeah, there are definitely moments when I felt unseen in my career, in my personal relationships. I think everyone has those moments where, you know, people are not really seeing the totality of what you bring to the table.
Yeah. How did you navigate those feelings of being unseen? Because, you know, one of the things that I have recently become a respecter of is time and season. And I learned that sometimes God, who, you know, shout out to the homie because he's my BFF, he has us covered for a reason.
Wow.
You know? And sometimes he's waiting for the right moment. He's waiting for a little bit more prep and priming to be done. He's waiting for a solid foundation to be set before he's ready to uncover you. But in that waiting season, you know, we got to be able to maintain and handle that and, you know, hang on to hope and faith that there is a moment in time when he's going to uncover us. So how have you navigated, or what advice do you have to people on how to navigate those seasons of being covered when they want to be seen?
Yes, you know, I feel like I love that you brought that Bible verse. I think it's Ecclesiastes 3:1 about times and seasons. Yes. I'm working on that. I'm working on being able to cite that word because that's a word I was reading throughout the week as well about time and seasons. And so I feel it's going off, and I don't want to cut it off, but because then it'll interrupt our live. But I feel like if we really honor time and seasons and we look at the rest of the world, you know, like even bears go into hibernation, right? The sun transitions at nighttime. There's always a season and a time for everything. So it's like a universal law. And we have to accept that as believers, that there are times and seasons for us to show up. So for me, even though I struggle with that because I'm very ambitious, I'm very impatient. So the wait for me is very challenging. But when I think about the sovereignty of God, that allows me, and when I say sovereignty, I mean the all-knowing, all-powerful nature and unlimited intelligence that is God. When I think about that, that settles me because it's like, wait a minute, the God I serve created the galaxies, the moon, the sun, the animals, you know, he set the time in motion, these scientific bodies that we have. He did all of that. So I think I can trust him with the unfolding of my life. And I think I can trust him to know things ahead that I don't know yet, and to know the preparation that I need for what's next. Like, I can trust that he is all knowing. So even though it doesn't feel good, the wait feels long, I remind myself that God operates outside of time. So this human nature time that gets us, stuck and scared and worried and anxious, he operates outside of that. And when the time is right, I do believe that he has good things prepared for me. So that's how I stay settled with, waiting and being patient during waiting seasons. And that's my advice to people, is to just remember the vastness of the God that we serve.
Let me tell you something. Trust is such a big word, mm-hmm. and you use it there. And I think sometimes we use it lightly. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we say it and it's just, when you think about the true weight of that word, and when you use it to really embrace it, it's hard. One, it's a challenge because, like you said, you were trusting in something that you haven't seen yet, right? And you're holding on to the fact that Jeremiah 29, I've got a hope and plan and future for you. You know what I mean? But trust, I have, like you too, I have struggled with that, because sometimes I kind of think of it like a treadmill. You're you feel like you're moving, you're putting in all this energy, you can see it, at the light at the end of the tunnel, but you realize when you look down, you really haven't moved anywhere yet.
Yes.
Like, God, I know I'm doing all this work. I know I've gotten that, and I've done that, and I've moved up a little bit here and there, and there are moments where I can see what it is you are trying to call me.
Yes.
But those moments, I'm waiting for it to be this consistent, experience that really shows the fullness of who you've called me to be and the plan and purpose that you've had for my life. So I'm moving, and I'm hoping that it's not in vain, but that's where that trust comes in. You got to know that even though you don't physically see, you've moved that inch, or you've moved from point A to point B, that God has seen it, and he knows, like you said, he's omnipotent.
Exactly. And one thing I always encourage people to do is to try to come up higher in their thinking, to stop thinking in the fleshly sense of time, of what I desire, what's good for me, what's going to make me happy, what I deserve, and start to look from the perspective of God, right? And when you come up to like an eagle's eye view, I feel like then the big things become minor and the minor things become big. While we're trying to achieve, millionaire status as an entrepreneur, God cares that we're praying and interceding for people, that we are bringing souls to him, that we're giving the homeless man on the corner a couple of dollars. Like, those are the things that we look at as small, but I feel like those are the major things. And then the things that we perceive as major, I think those are minor things when it comes to the full scope of, being believers. And that also humbles me when I come up higher and look outside of what Lily wants, outside of what's going to make Lily happy and what Lily deserves. There's a bigger thing at play here. Like, this is about winning souls. This is about, being a light in dark places. And so even if I haven't gotten to my destination, did I show up today as a light? Yes, I did, because I'm on here talking about the word of God with you. Okay. So I know, right? We're supposed to be talking about business. I totally forgot the whole purpose of the live. How did we get here?
Okay, we're going to church.
That's so funny.
Your point. So true. And one thing that we have to always also keep in mind too, we have these desires, we have these wants in our mind. We know where we want to be and the goals that we want to achieve, but God also wants to make sure that we have the capacity to handle what comes with that. And so he is building us, and there are things that we may not know or understand why certain things are happening, or why he actually has me in this place. But Lord, I ask you to take me here. But that he needs us to pick up. There's something that he needs us to learn. There's a challenge that he needs us to overcome that's not even for ourselves, but it's for the next person who's watching the journey, and who's that. To see that, hey, if Lily Mae was able to do this, if Dominique was able to overcome that, then I know I can make it out on the other side. Okay. Speaking of being seen, tell me about a time where you felt seen, when you first felt seen in your career or personally. Uh,
That's a great question. So when I think of first being seen, that is a great question. I think about there, like there's a montage of moments, and I'm like, oh, where have I actually? Okay, here was a moment, and it wasn't the first time I felt seen, but it was a moment where I felt seen. I was actually filming a pilot for BET Networks in Atlanta. It was going to be a reality show about publicists, and it was a big production, so we were really excited about it. And I released a book called The PR Code, and they decided to cover the book release for the TV show. And so it was such a big production centered around me that day that I really felt seen. All of Atlanta was there. You have, producers and lights and cameras and action, and I have a book and a product. And it felt like the culmination of, having worked so hard. Now, consequentially, the team got fired that worked for BET, so our project got dropped with the team. But it was a moment where it was like a culmination moment where I felt seen, like, wow, like people are here to support me and my vision.
yeah.
So
How did that make you feel?
it was wonderful. It was honestly, I felt like I was on the cusp of everything I hoped and dreamed. Like it felt like, man, this is it. This is the moment. And, I thought about all the people that you see like win Oscars and Grammys. And that was my little version of like that moment, like, oh, I'm almost there. And so it felt wonderful. It was just increasing. I mean, didn't get picked up though after we filmed so much. So that was a bummer, but it was a great experience.
Well, a show that did get picked up that we saw you on.
Right. It was
Love is Blind. So for those who will catch the replay and those who may be tuning in now, Lily Mae was a cast member of the first season of Love is Blind, and that was one of the best shows that I'd seen. It certainly got us through the pandemic, like a good thing to show to binge watch during the pandemic. But tell us how that show came about and how you ended up being a cast member of that show.
Yeah, I've actually interviewed for quite a few reality shows, honestly. So that was a thing. People send me castings, I apply. People send me castings, I interview. And so it was basically that. One of my friends in LA sent me the information. I applied and, was somehow selected to be on the show. But yeah, it was an amazing experience. Sometimes I forget until someone brings it up. I forget about it because it was such a brief moment. Like I was on there for maybe 4 minutes, maybe. And so, yeah, I forget sometimes, but it was a big deal and it was a great experience to film it.
Yeah. So you were seen on reality TV. You felt seen producing a show that, even though it didn't make it to air, that experience elevated you in some way and made you feel appreciated and seen for the work that you do and the value that you bring to our community. How do you go about making your clients feel seen in the work that you do?
Yes. So one thing about me, I always try to go above client expectations. So as a public relations strategist, I try to, wow them with what I produce. So I tend to, when clients sign up for a media campaign, I confirm them for interview opportunities like with Black Enterprise or Afrotech or Travel New York to wow them and to make them feel seen and get them more visibility, get them the views, the traffic, the hits, the credibility. So that's how I help clients get seen. And then I also put them on the Glambitious platform as speakers and, put them on my flyers and just incorporate them in that as well so that more people can see them and discover, their expertise.
Yeah, I love that. Do you have a client story that's your favorite?
Yes. One of my clients, Nikki Payne, she actually left a review about this experience. She credited working with me as like what kind of helped her reach $500,000 in revenue in 6 months. So that, yeah, I know I hadn't reached that myself. So I'm like, wait a minute, let me, how did I do that for you? But she could, she attributes working with me to helping her reach that very, very massive revenue goal in her business. So I'm very, very proud of that for sure.
Yes. So not only are you providing space for women and your clients through your publication, but you also host a series of events. And I understand that you're in the midst of doing it right now. So talk to us about that and some of the stops that you'll be making along the way.
Sure. So the big event is going to be in Atlanta on August 26th, and that's to celebrate Glambitious 10-year anniversary. So that's going to be like the big conference. Yes, I'm very excited about it. Anybody that's from Atlanta or in Atlanta or want to travel to Atlanta, you can visit my website, theglamceo.com. And then I'm also hosting a brunch in Charlotte in April. And so I'll be announcing those details. But also, if you join my email list at theglamceo.com, you'll get an invite to all of the events and all of the opportunities that I have for women to speak, be panelists, be vendors, and participate with these events.
Yeah. Okay, so it would not be Ben Worthy if we did not ask you about your worthy aha moment. So this is that moment when you realize, not only am I worthy of all the things, life, love, relationship, career, but I've been worthy and started moving accordingly. When was that moment for you in life? And I'll say this, most of us have had several over our lifespan. You can recall a specific moment where you had.
Yeah, I think I feel like there have been micro moments. So there wasn't like a big aha, this did it for me, but there have been little micro moments along my journey that I feel like are God winks, like God saying, yeah, girl, it's you, yeah, girl, it's you, and so some of those opportunities might be like me getting interviewed on Black Enterprise, or me getting on NBC 11 Alive to do like a presentation on TV. So there's these, or me getting an award for my public relations work, like a physical award celebrating that. So there are these like micro moments. I mean, prior to me being in public relations, I was a journalist. I would do interviews, red carpet interviews, things like that. So interviewing Wendy Williams was a little moment like, man, this is major, so there are micro moments throughout my career, I feel like that, make me like, yeah, you're really good at this. Every time someone gives me like a testimonial, or I hear people read my bio, I'm like, that's right. So yeah, so it's just micro moments that, I remind me like, okay, you're really worthy to be seen. You do great work and you have a great heart.
Now, being worthy in and of itself is an affirmation. I always say it's the affirmation I didn't know I needed. One of the things I do with my girls every morning, I'm a mom of 3. Oh, wow. And on the way to school, we say what we're grateful for and we say our I ams. So I like to ask my guest, what are your top 3 I ams? And not necessarily of all times. It could just be for today.
Today, I would say I am grateful. I am in a very grateful space. I'm learning that gratitude is not contingent upon accomplishments, tangible things, or anything like that. It's a choice that we make to be grateful, right? So I am grateful today. I am joyous, although again, I'm in a waiting season. I feel like I just left the wilderness actually a couple days ago. So, so yeah, I am joyous just for peace. It's little things now. I am joyous that I get to have some crab legs when we get off of here. It's like I'm learning to find joy in the simplest little things, being able to go for a walk outside earlier. So last year I had broke my foot and I could not walk for months. And so now I'm like, man, I can find joy, in the little things. So what did I say? I'm
joyous.
I'm grateful. I'm joyous. And
the crowd.
I'm hopeful.
You're hopeful.
That's what yes, I'm hopeful. So I'm grateful, I'm joyous, and I'm hopeful for what, God is preparing for me. Yeah.
I love it. So I like to end all of these conversations with a quick little rapid fire game. And this game, I'm going to say a word and you've got 5 seconds or less to say the first word that comes to mind. It's pretty simple. It's pretty easy, but it's just our way of getting your perspective on what these words mean to you.
Okay.
All right. Glambitious.
Oh, I'm supposed to tell you what it means to me, right?
First word that comes to mind.
First word, okay. Lily.
Lily, okay. Worthy.
Everyone.
Black women.
Brilliant.
God.
Amazing.
Exposure.
Necessary.
empowerment.
Wonderful.
That's it.
That's cute. I like that.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I want to, before I, tell everybody how to, or get you to tell everybody how to connect with you and all those things, I want to leave you all with this quote, and it's by one of my faves, Toni Morrison, and it talks about being seen. She writes, "You are worthy to be seen. You are worthy to be heard. You are worthy to be sat with, to be walked beside. Even in your quietest moments, you are worthy of witness." And I love that. And I think it speaks to all the things that you do, the incredible work that you are doing for women and showcasing who they are, their talents, but even beyond that. And so I'm grateful for the work that you do. And I'm even more grateful to have the opportunity to work with you. And I would love for you to share with our viewers how we can connect with you, your website where we can learn information about the brand and the upcoming events.
Yeah. Awesome. And thank you for having me. This was fun. So yeah, you can visit my website, theglamceo.com, for tickets to my event. And I have a book called The Entrepreneur's Guide to Get More Visibility. So as it relates to being seen, if you're an entrepreneur, this book gives you tons of ideas to get your business and brand in front of more people, more clients, etc. So that's also on theglamceo.com. And then if you want to follow me on Instagram, you can follow IAM Lily Mae. That's my personal journey. IAM Lily Mae. So this was really fun. I'm so glad we were able to chat, and I hope to see you at my Charlotte branch.
You will see me at the Charlotte branch. You may even catch me in August at the big event, because 10 years is a big deal, and I'd love to support you in that.
Love it.
Okay, Lily Mae, have a great night. Hopefully we'll be seeing you on our TV screens again soon.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Bye-bye.